I recently got back from shooting my first wedding film of this year, and I want to share with you a few tips and takeaways in order for you not to make the same mistakes that I did like on my previous video. About 4 to 5 months ago, I shot another wedding video, and you can see here that the white balance and exposure levels were not set correctly. With that in mind, the first thing that I did when I got there, it was to set my white balance correctly. I was like, this can't happen again. And the first place that we shot, it was at a cathedral. There were two locations, the cathedral and the venue. So the first location, it was the cathedral. And I started with a few B-rolls of the location, of outside, different angles, and also inside, in order to give the viewer an idea of where the wedding is taking place. I usually shoot my B-rolls handheld, like I'm doing so it's easier for me when I'm shooting to kind of do the movements that I want rather than with a gimbal. And since I'm filming at 60 frames per second, I'm able to slow down my B-rolls in order for it to look more cinematic. After I was done with the first B-rolls, I asked somebody inside to see if I can go ahead and plug my microphone to their audio. And to my surprise, they said, no, you can't do that. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do now? So the first thing that I did, it was run. So the first thing that I did, it was to attach the lavalier microphone to the groom and to the father, because I didn't have a way to record the audio straight from their audio system. So by attaching a lavalier microphone to the groom and to the father, I was able to record the most important moments of what I needed for my film. For this wedding film, I brought my two cameras, which were the Sony FX3 and the Sony A6400. The Sony FX3, I used it for those close-up shots. As you can see with the 85mm, I was able to get those nice close-up shots. And with the Sony A6400, I was able to get those wide-angle shots. So when I'm editing, I'm able to switch over between the close-up shots and the wide-angle shots in order to have some sort of better transition when editing my videos. And when they were ready to start walking down the aisle, I placed myself in a good location in order to have everybody walking in throughout the door, including the bride. For my second camera, I placed it right where the groom was standing in order for me to have the groom looking at the bride when the bride was walking down the aisle. So I was able to grab a shot of the bride walking down the aisle and the groom reacting to the bride walking down the aisle. That's some of the most important shots that you want to have in your videos. After the ceremony was done on our first location, you can see here that the photographer was starting to get some shots, and that's your time to go ahead and get some B-rolls of them kissing, being with the family, in order for you to add it to your wedding film.
City lights, keeps me up through the night.
After everything was done with the ceremony and taking pictures, we went straight to the venue, and you can see here that I started with some B-rolls as well to kind of give again an idea of the viewer that we're switching up locations. The first thing that they did, it was enter and straight up to the dance floor. They had this indoor fireworks somehow, a machine that produces fireworks. As I was standing right behind one with my close-up angle, so I was able to have the fireworks on the left covering some part of the screen, and I'm able to have on the right my couple dancing. After those beautiful shots, you have the father dancing with the bride, then the mom dancing with the groom, and then they went to the speeches. They had some speeches, which this time I was able to plug my microphone into their audio system. So this time I went ahead and asked the DJ to see if I can go ahead and plug it, and he of course said yes, because he doesn't mind like the cathedral, but whatever. As you can see here, I went ahead and brought this XLR cable, which I was able to plug it into the microphone output and straight up to my recorder. And don't forget to hit record when they're about to start the speeches, so you don't get all that unwanted audio of the music into your recorder, because it's just gonna eat up some space. You don't need to record the whole thing, you only need to record the speeches. So after the speeches were done, you turn off the microphone and then you place it away so you don't forget anything. And then on the reception, as you can see here, I grabbed some close-up shots of the groom doing his speech to the bride, and it came out really nice with those close-up shots of him talking. They also had another couple dance where they shot some confetti with a Canon, and all the dances I film it at 60 frames per second, so I'm able to slow it down when I want to slow it down. When you're editing, don't forget to add your sound effects. Like for example, when I was shooting the confetti, I also added some Canon sound effect in order to make it feel more real. Same thing with the fireworks. When they were dancing, I also added some sound effects of the fireworks so you can hear that firework going while they're dancing. If you listen carefully, you can hear the fireworks that I added as a sound effect to kind of enhance your video.
We were always gonna last. Yeah.
And that's something that you can record because you have also the music of the dance, which you cannot use because it's copyrighted, so you have to use copyright-free music. And then the final part is always the party. So they had the party with no lights, so I had to raise my exposure a little bit higher than usual, about 3,000 to 4,000 ISO in order to get these shots better illuminated in my camera. And I also wanted to give this effect of them partying really hard, so I lowered my shutter speed to 1/8. And you can see this effect of like slow motion, like blurred out, like drunk type of thing, dancing, and that's something that I added in the video and came out really good. Also, what I always ask when I get to the location of filming is where I can go ahead and leave my stuff in a secure place. In the cathedral, they allow me to leave my stuff in the back booths, which I was able to see it at all times. And on the venue, I was able to leave my stuff in the kitchen. Usually the kitchen is always the place where they allow you to leave your stuff. They always have the staff in the kitchen, and there is an area where you can go ahead and leave your stuff. I don't usually leave my camera. I always take my camera with me. I leave the other stuff such as the batteries and the backpack and any other stuff, the lights, because I know that nobody's gonna take that. And well, that was it. I really hope that you learned something from this video so you can go ahead and apply it to your video as well, to your wedding films. And well, if you learned something, let me know in the comment section what are your thoughts about this specific video, or if you have any questions in particular, I'll be glad to answer them. I'll also go ahead and leave a link for the wedding video in the description below, so you can go ahead and take a look at it if you want to. And well, with all that being said, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. Take care.